breaking news overnight. The January 6th committee released its final report. It finds that, quote, the central cause of January 6th was one man, former President Donald Trump. The House Select Committee argues that due to his alleged involvement in the violence on that day, Donald Trump should be barred from holding office in the future. Scott MacFarlane is on Capitol Hill with more on the report. Scott, good morning to you.
Hey, Gayle, good morning. It's an 845-page final report, which culminates a 2-year investigation with 10 public hearings, 1,000-plus interviews, and 1 million-plus documents. The final report is out, and it lays out in explicit detail how Donald Trump allegedly engaged in a multi-part conspiracy to overturn the lawful results of the 2020 presidential election. Incited a mob, put his vice president's life in danger, and tried to subvert the Justice Department and local election officials.
There's overwhelming and voluminous evidence that Donald Trump just refused to take no for an answer from the American people.
The panel issued 11 recommendations in the report to help prevent future attacks, including strengthening enforcement of the 14th Amendment, which bans insurrectionists from holding public office. They argue that would prevent Trump from running again. It also recommended a more rigorous oversight and full funding of Capitol Police. To protect election workers in the future, it recommends protecting their identities and increasing penalties for threats made against them. And to bolster its subpoena enforcement power in response to the Trump allies that refused to comply. One star witness who did comply was Cassidy Hutchinson, the former aide of White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Late Thursday, the committee released transcripts of interviews she conducted in September after the public hearings this summer. She told the panel Trump insiders, including lawyer Stefan Pesentino, pressured her to remain loyal despite facing a risk of contempt of Congress. She said Pesentino told her to downplay your role. You were a secretary. You had an administrative role. And the less you remember, the better.
It's outrageous and scandalous and indefensible that there would be an attempt to interfere with our investigation by influencing witnesses.
Pesentino said he acted honorably, ethically, and fully consistent with Hutchinson's sole interests. The panel, largely boycotted by House Republicans, received praise from California Democrat Nancy Pelosi in her final press conference as U.S. House Speaker.
We have a vital roadmap ensuring justice will be done and that this won't happen again.
Donald Trump responded to the investigation and the report, calling it a witch hunt and saying it failed to study the reasons for protests. With the committee now wrapping up its work, the attention shifts, David, to the Justice Department and whether they take criminal actions against Trump.
Scott MacFarlane at the Capitol this morning. Thank you, Scott.